thank you, Miss Brewster.
You see, living here next to the parsonage all our lives, we've seen so many ministers come and go that the spirit of Brooklyn and today is friendliness and your sermon.
I agree. Abby, do you mind if I have another one of your positions?
Not in the slightest. Would anyone else care for one? I do hope they don't make us use imitation flour again with this war trouble and all. It might not be very charitable of me, but I've almost come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hussein was born in an outhouse and raised in the sewer.
The Middle East is on another planet.
The Middle East, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Point your gun the other way.
Gun?
Penny!
To the east. There's your danger. There's your fear. Iraq.
Why, yes.
Penny!
No, Aunt Abby, not so much about Iraq, and more about the canal.
Will you have another cup of tea, dear?
No, thank you, Aunt Abby.
Anyone else?
Well, thank you. I must admit, Miss Abby, that war and violence seem far removed from these surroundings.
It is peaceful here.
Yes, it is peaceful. I understand Mortimer is taking Elaine with him to the theater tonight.
Why, yes, he is. We're so happy it's Elaine Mortimer takes to the theater with him, Dr. Harper.
Well, it's a new experience for me to wait up until 3 in the morning for my daughter to be brought home.
Well, now, who do you suppose that is? Amos, will you please get the door?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, come in, Mr. Brewster.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
And how are the rest of you?
Very well, Miss Brewster. Gentlemen, what news have you brought me? Colonel, we have nothing to report. Splendid! Thank you, gentlemen. At ease.
I'm sure you know who everyone else is.
Why, of course. Hello, Dr. Harper. Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper. Mr. Sterling. We've come for toys for a Christmas vine.
Oh, yes.
That's splendid work you men do. Picking up discarded toys to give poor children a happier Christmas.
Gives us something to do when you have to sit around the station. You get tired of playing cards. And then you start cleaning guns, and the first thing you know, you shot yourself in the foot.
Penny, go upstairs and get that big box from your Aunt Martha's room. How is Mrs. Brophy today? Mrs. Brophy's been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Pneumonia. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, she's feeling better now. A little weak still.
I'm going to get some beef broth to take to her.
Don't bother, Miss Abby. You've done so much for her already.
Miles made this morning. Mr. Martha's taking some to poor Mr. Beninsky right now. It won't be a minute. Sit down and be comfortable, all of you.
She shouldn't go to all that trouble.
Listen, try to stop her or sister from doing something nice, and for nothing. They don't even care how you vote.
When I received my call to Brooklyn and moved in next door, my wife wasn't well. When she died, and for months before. Well, if I know what pure kindness and absolute generosity are, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters.
Colonel, you promised not to do that. But I have to go on cabinet meetings to get the release of those supplies.
He used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors raised Cain with us. They're a little bit afraid of him anyway.
Oh, he's quite harmless.
Suppose he does think it's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot worse people than think he was.
It's such a shame, a nice family like this hatching a cuckoo.
Well, probably the old girl's brother was some sort of genius. And I hear their father, Teddy's grandfather, is a little crazy too.
Yeah, crazy like a fox. He made $1 million, didn't he? Really? Here in Brooklyn? Yeah, patent medicine. He was sort of a quack. Old Sergeant Edwards remembers him. He used the house here as a clinic. Tried him out on people.
Yeah, I hear he used to make mistakes occasionally too.
Yeah, the department never bothered him much because he was pretty helpful on the autopsy cases, especially the poison cases.
Well, whatever he did, he left his daughter fix the leg. Thank God for that.
Not that they ever spent any of it on themselves.
Yes, I'm well acquainted with their charities.
You don't know a tenth of it. When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, we were trying to trace an old man that we never did find. Did you know there's a renting agency that has this house on its list for furnished rooms? They don't rent rooms, but you can bet that anybody who comes looking for one get a good meal and probably a few dollars.
Just their way of digging up people to do something good to.
Well, now, isn't this nice?
Good afternoon, Miss Brewster.
How do you do, Mr. Brody, and how are the rest of you?
We're all fine. We dropped in to get the Christmas toys.
Oh, yes. Ted's gonna be a Navy. They were out. They're all packed.
The colonel's upstairs after them. It seems the cabinet has to okay it.
Yes, of course. I hope Mrs. Brody's better.
She's doing fine, ma'am. Your sister's in the kitchen getting me some soup to take to her.
Oh, yes. I just took some to a poor man who broke ever so many bones. Oh, you're back, Martha. Thank you, Miles.
You're welcome.
How was the doing against you? Well, dear, it's pretty serious, I'm afraid. The doctor was there. He's going to amputate in the morning. Can we be present? No, I asked him, but he said it was against the rules of the hospital. Here you go, Mr. Brody. Make sure it's good and hot.
Yes, ma'am.
This is fine. It'll make a lot of kids happy. That O'Malley boy's nuts about soldiers.
That's General Miles. I retired. What's this? The Oregon?
Teddy, dear,
But the
what is
Oregon!
that?
But the Oregon goes to Australia!
Teddy!
No, Aunt Abby, I've given my word that fighting involves everything.
But Teddy!
What's the difference?
What kid gets it? Bobby Evans? Is he going? Well, we'll run along now, and thank you very much.
Not at all. Goodbye.
It's been a pleasant afternoon, but I regret to inform you that my wife and I will be on our way off.
I must be getting home.
Before you go, Dr. Hopper.
Have you ever tried to persuade him that he wasn't Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no. He's so happy being Teddy Roosevelt. Once, a long time ago. Remember, Martha, we thought if he could be George Washington, it might be a change for him. But he stayed under his bed for days and just wouldn't be anybody. And we'd much rather he be Mr. Roosevelt than nobody.
Well, if he's happy, and what's more important, you're happy. You'll see that he signs these men?
What are they? Dr. Hopper's made arrangements for Teddy to go to Happydale Sanitarium after we pass on. But why should Teddy sign any papers now?
Well, if the Lord should take you away suddenly, perhaps we could persuade Teddy to commit himself, and that would mean unpleasant legal procedures. Mr. Witherspoon understands that they're to be filed away until the time comes to use them.
Mr. Witherspoon? Who's he?
He's the superintendent of Happydale.
Dr. Hopper's made arrangements for Mr. Witherspoon to come meet Teddy tomorrow or the next day.
Well, I must be running along, or Elaine will be over here looking for me.
Give our love to Elaine. And, Dr. Hopper, please don't think harshly of Mortimer because he's a rather bad critic. Somebody has to do these things. Were you just having tea, dear? Yes,
Suppose we wait until after the show.
But that'll make it pretty late, won't it?
Not with the little sinkers we've seen tonight. From what I've heard about it, we'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
Mortimer, you ought to be fair to these movies.
Are these movies fair to me?
I have never seen you walk out on a musical.
That musical is opening tonight.
No?
Darling, you have to learn the rules. For the musical, there are 4 changes to the title and 3 postponements.
Oh, I was hoping it would be a musical.
You have such a lot of time.
Not a bit. After a serious movie, you take me home in a taxi, and I have to listen to you lecture on the drama. But after a musical, you walk me home underneath the moonlight.
Now, wait a minute, darling. That's a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Whatever you say, Mortimer, I'd better run over and speak to Father.
I've never been able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with the girl who lives in Brooklyn.
Falling in love?
The only way I can regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
Where can we be married to her? Say tonight.
I'm afraid Father will insist on officiating.
I bet your father can make even the service sound dull.
Are you by any chance writing a review of it?
Forgive me, darling. It's an occupational disease. Be sure to tell your father not to wait up tonight.
I think tonight I'd better him to wait up.
I'll telephone Winchell to publish the band.
Nevertheless,
All right, everything formal and legal, but not later than next month.
darling, I'll talk it over with Father and set the date.
No, we'll have to see what the rehearsal. There'll be plenty of other first nights in October. How are you, Mr. President?
Bully! Just bully! What news have you brought me?
Just this, Mr. President. The country is squarely behind you.
Yes, I know. Isn't it wonderful? Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
Where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama!
Paying him off to the cellar. He takes walks through the canal down.
You're so sweet to him, and he's very fond of you.
Well, Teddy was always my favorite brother.
Favorite? Was there more of you?
There's another brother, Jonathan.
I've never heard of him. Your aunt would never mention him.
No, we don't like to talk about Jonathan. He left Brooklyn early by request. Jonathan was the type of boy you like to cut worms into, with his teeth.
What became of him?
I don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon like grandfather, but he wouldn't go to medical school first, and his practice got him in trouble.
Oh, aren't you two going to be late for the theater?
We're skipping dinner. We don't have to start for half an hour.
Well, then I'll just leave you two alone together again. No, Father. I'd better run over and speak to Father. Before I go out with you, he has to say a little prayer over me. I'll be right back. I'll come to the cemetery.
If the prayer isn't too long, I'll leave you to side through waters.
Mortimer, that's the first time I've ever heard you quote the Bible. We knew a lady would be a good influence on you.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to marry her.
What? Oh, darling. Martha, Martha, come right in here. I've got the most wonderful news for you. Mortimer and Elaine are going to be married. Mortimer, oh, we have to remember like this. Well, Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Happy? Just look at her leaping over the grave. By the way, I left a large envelope around here last week. It was one of my chapters on my book of Shakespeare. Have you seen it?
Well, if you left it here, it must be around here somewhere. When are you going to be married? What are your plans? There must be something more you can tell us about Elaine.
Elaine? Oh, yes. Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What was it?
My chapter on Shakespeare.
Well, when Elaine gets back, I think we ought to have a little celebration. Martha, isn't there some of that Lady Baltimore cake left? Oh, yes. And I'll open a bottle of elderberry wine. Oh, it's a thing could happen in this room.
Now, where should I put that?
Well, with your fiancé sitting beside you tonight, I do hope the movie will be something you can enjoy for once. It might be something romantic. What's the name of it?
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When the curtain shows up, the first thing you'll see will be a dead body. carry him. Happy Dale.
Yes, dear. Dr. Harper was about here today, and he left these papers for Teddy to sign. Here they are.
He's got to sign them right away.
That's what Dr. Harper thinks. Then there won't be any legal difficulties once we pass on.
He's got to sign them this bid. He's down the cellar. Get him up here right away.
There's not such hurry as that, dear. No, when Teddy starts working on the canal, you can't get his mind on anything else.
Teddy has got to go to Happy Dale tonight.
Why, Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? Why, as long as we're alive, we will never be separated from Teddy.
Right away, I tell you, right away.
Why, Mortimer, how can you say such a thing about Teddy? Your old brother.
I'm sorry, but I've got some shocking news. Now, we've all got to try and keep our heads. You know we sort of humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless.
Well, he is harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happy Dale. Well, he has to be confined.
Mortimer. Teddy can't go to Happy Dale. We're still living.
Listen, darling. There's a dead body in there.
Yes, dear, we know.
You know?
Of course, dear. And it has nothing to do with Teddy.
But who is he? What happened to him?
His name is Hoskins. Adam Hoskins. That's all I really know about him, except that he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him. Well, what's he doing here? What happened to him?
He died.
Aunt Martha, men just don't get into a truck and die.
Oh, no. He died.
Well, how?
Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The man died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
How did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it into the wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in the tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine?
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the crime.
So you knew what you'd done. You didn't want your company to see the body.
Well, that wouldn't be very nice at tea. Now, Mortimer, now that you know everything, just forget about it.
Do the servants know?
No, we always send them out of the house when one is sick. And don't you tell Elaine. Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Miss Shaw. She's doing much better, but she'd like us to take Junior to the movies again. Well, we must do that tomorrow or the next day. Yes, but this time we'll go to the movies we want to see. Junior's not going to drag me into another one of those scary pictures.
Hello, City there. Oh, Al, you know who this is? That's right. Say, Al, when I left the office, I told you I was going, remember? Well, where did I say? Uh-huh. Well, it'll take me about half an hour to get to Brooklyn. What time have you got? That's right, I must be here. Hey, Martha, come in here. What are we going to do?
What are we going to do about what, dear? It doesn't servants all know. I mean, I can manage.
There's a dead body in there.
Yes, do we know?
Well, good heavens, I can't turn you over to the police. But what am I going to do?
Now, Mortimer, you're a little too old to be flying off the handle like this.
But Mr. Hoskins.
Hoskins, dear.
Well, whatever his name is, you can't leave him there.
We don't intend
sober as a lark. I just called you because I was feeling a little strange. Look, Al, you've got to get a hold of George. He's got to review the movie tonight. I can't make it. No, Al, you're wrong. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. You get a hold of George. Now, let's see. Where were we? 12.
Yes, I think we should count this first one, and that makes 12.
All right, now, who was the first one?
Oh, let me see. Mr. Midley. He was the bestest. But I really don't think we should count full credit for him, because he just died. Martha means without any help from Ed. You see, he came here looking for a room. It was right after he moved to New York, and we didn't think it was right for that lovely room to go to waste when there were so many people who needed it. He was such a lonely man. All his kin were dead, and it left him so unhappy. And then, when his heart attack came, and he sat down in that chair, looking so peaceful, remember, Martha? We made up our minds then and there that if we could help other lonely old men to the same peace, we would.
You dropped dead right in that chair?
Yes.
How awful for you.
No, dear. Well, it was rather old times, like old times. Your grandfather always used to have a bum or two around the house. You see, Teddy had been digging in Panama, and he thought Mr. Richmond was a yellow fever victim, and that meant he had to be buried immediately.
So that's how all this started. That man walking in here and dropping dead.
Well, we realized we couldn't count on that happening again. So, remember those jars of poison that had been in grandfather's laboratory all these years? And you know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. Why, you need the knuckle particularly to know that. Well, dear, for both the elderberry wine, I asked 1 teaspoon arsenic, half a teaspoon strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide.
Should have quite a kick.
Oh, I don't. In fact, one of our judges actually found time to say how delicious. Well, Martha, we must hurry things on in the kitchen. Yes. Oh, Mortimer, I'm so glad you know the whole thing now. You have to wait for Elaine, don't you, dear? Well, I'll leave you with your thoughts.
Oh, it's you.
Don't be cross, darling. Father could see that I was decided, and that made it hard for me to get away. But listen, darling, he's not going to wait up for me tonight.
Now, run along, Elaine. I've got... And I'll call you up in a day or two.
In a day or two?
You know I'll call you up every day or two.
But we're going to the movies tonight.
No, we're not.
Mortimer, you've lost your job.
Oh, no, I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering the movie tonight.
But I've got to know what's happened. Certainly you can tell me.
No, dear, I can't.
But if we're going to be married...
Married?
Have you forgotten not 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
I did. Oh, yes. Well, as far as I know, that's still on.
Now listen, you can't propose to me one minute and throw me out of the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of the house, dear. Will you get out of here?
No, I won't. Not until I've had some kind of explanation.
Elaine! Hello. Oh, hello, Al. Hold on a minute, will you? All right, it's important, but it can wait, can it? Hold on. Look, Elaine. You're a sweet girl, and I love you, but I've got something in my mind now, and I want you to go home and wait till I call you.
Mortimer, don't try to be masterful.
We're married, and I have problems to face. I hope you're less cranky and bossy.
And when we're married, if we're married, I hope I find you adequate.
Hello?
Dear, that's not the telephone. It's the doorbell.
any good if I don't like the room.
Well, please, do sit down.
Hello, let me talk to Alligator. See that? Ow, see that? What? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong number.
Are your family good Flint people?
I don't have any family.
Well, do you live in Berkeley?
No, I live in a hotel. I don't like it.
Hello, see that?
Well, Martha, you come to just the right house. I'm glad you're sitting down.
I'd really like to see the room.
It's upstairs, but won't you try a glass of our wine, sir?
No, I'm afraid I'll never touch it.
We make ourselves. It's elderberry wine.
Oh, well, elderberry wine. Thank you.
Hello, Al? Boy, we got cut off. Look, Al, I can't go to the movie tonight. That's all there is to it, I can't.
I'd really like to see the room.
Oh, but we'd really like you to sit down, and we'd really like to get to know you better.
What's George doing to me today? Certainly I told him he could go to me today. It's my department, isn't it? Well, you've got to get somebody. Who else is there around the office? I'll hold on.
What church do you go to? There's an Episcopal church practically next door.
I'm Presbyterian. Used to be.
Look, Al, you got to get somebody. Who else is there around the office? How about the office boy? You know the Protestant one we don't like? Well, you look around, please. I'll hold on.
May I please see the room?
It's upstairs, but we're trying the wine.
What? Well, there must be some person around. Look out. The fellow who sets my coffee. You ought to know about what I write. His name is Joe. He's the third machine from the left. But look out, if I'm going to have to be another sister on him.
Do you have your own elderberry bushes?
No, but the cemetery is full of them.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm going to slow down.
You serve meals?
We might, but see if you like our wine.
People wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand.
Abby, we shouldn't have told Mortimer.
Well, what I mean is, Isabel's just a very bad habit.
Mortimer, we don't try and stop you from doing the things you like. Why are you trying to interfere with us?
Hello? All right, I'll see the first act. But look, now you gotta do something for me. Get hold of O'Brien, our lawyer, the head of our legal department. Have him meet me at the theater. Now don't let me down. Oh, I'm sorry now. Look, I've got to go to the theater. I can't get out. But before you go, will you promise me something?
We'd not have to know what it was first.
I love you very much, and I know you love me. You know I'd do anything in the world for you, and I want you to do this little thing for me.
Mortimer, what do you want us to do?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone in this house. Leave Mr. Hotchkiss right where he is.
Why?
I want time to think. I've got quite a bit to think about. You know I wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
Oh, what on earth could happen to us?
Well, anyway, you'll do this for me, won't you?
Well, we weren't planning on holding services before dinner.
Services?
Why, yes. You don't think we'd spare Mr. Hopkins without a
anyone in this house while I'm gone? It's a promise?
Well, oh, Martha, we can do that now that Mortimer's cooperating with us. All right, Martha.
Have you got some papers? I'll get back as soon as possible. There's a man I've got to see.
Here's some stationery. Will this do?
That'll be fine. I can save time if I write my review on the way to the theater.
Mortimer didn't seem quite himself today. Oh, I think I know why. Because I think it's natural for a man to be nervous before his funeral. I mean, he's married. Well, I think the honeymoon ought to give Mortimer a real vacation. I don't think he got much rest this summer. Well, at least he didn't go cracking off to China or Spain. I could never understand why Mortimer wanted to go to such places. Well, I think to Mortimer the movies has always been pretty small potatoes. I think he needs something big to criticize. Oh, something like the human race. Oh, Martha, if Mortimer's gonna come for the funeral services, we'll meet another hymnal. There's one in my room. He knows here it's really my turn to read the services, but if you want to and Mr. Hoskins came, I think I'll let you do it. That's very nice of you, dear. But are you sure? It's only fair. Well, dear, I think I'll wear my leather throat and my black jeans. Well, now, I'll go get it. Now, we promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anybody in. Well, who do you suppose it is? Oh, look. It's two men, and I've never seen them before. Oh, are you sure? Yeah. There's a car. They must have come in there. Oh, let me look. Do you recognize them? Oh, they're strangers to me. Well, pretend we're not at home.
Come in, doctor. This is the home of my youth. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from this place. Now I'm happy to escape back into it.
Yeah, Johnny, he's a fine hideout.
The family must still live here. There's something so unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters.
Well, Johnny, I'm hungry. Look, Johnny, drink.
That's all we were expecting. A good omen.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, it's Jonathan.
You're not Jonathan. You're nothing like Jonathan. So get out.
I am Jonathan, your nephew Jonathan.
You get out of here.
And this is Dr. Einstein.
And he's not Dr. Einstein.
Not Dr. Albert Einstein, Dr. Herman Einstein.
No, who are you, really? You're not our nephew, Jonathan. Get out.
I see you're still wearing the lovely garnet ring that Grandma Brewster bought you in England. And you, Aunt Abby, the high collar behind the scars of grandfather's ass burned you.
Have you been in an accident?
No, my face. Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
Well, dear, it's very nice to see you again.
Bless you, Aunt Martha.
We'll hurry things on in the kitchen.
Well, where do we go from here? We got to think fast. The police have got pictures to that face. I got to operate by the bay. They got to find some place for that. We got to find some place for Mr. Spinoza, too.
Don't waste any worry on that, Ray.
But Johnny, they got a hot sleep on our hands.
Forget Mr. Spinaldo.
Johnny, you can't leave a dead body in the bumble seat. You shouldn't have killed him, Johnny. He's a nice fellow. He gets the lift, and then what happens?
He said I look like Freddy Krueger. That's your work, doctor. You did that to me.
Johnny, be by the place somewhere. I'll fix you quick.
It's not.
Johnny, I gotta eat first. I'm hungry. I'll think.
Jonathan, we're very glad you came and took the time to say hello. But you were never happy while you were in this house, and we weren't either. So we're coming to say goodbye.
Aunt Abby, I can't say that your feeling for me comes as a surprise. I spent a great many hours regretting the many heartaches I must have given you as a boy.
You were quite a trial, Jonathan.
But my great disappointment is for Dr. Einstein. I promised him no matter how mad or rushed we were passing through Brooklyn, we'd take the time to stop by to have one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked dinners.
Oh, I'm afraid there won't be enough. I'll be in the pretty good-sized hot roast.
Hot roast.
Yes, I think the least we can do is two.
Bless you, Martha. We'll stay for dinner.
Well, we'll hurry things on in the kitchen. Yes, unless you're in a hurry to go somewhere. Oh, Jonathan, if you want to freshen up, you can use the washroom at Grandfather's old laboratory.
Is that still there?
Yes, right, just as he left it. Well, we'll hurry things along.
Be good a meal anyway.
Grandfather's laboratory. And just as it was. A perfect operating room.
Too bad we can't use it.
Doctor, by the time you get through with me, well, we can make a fortune here. The laboratory, the large board in the attic, the 10 beds, and Dr. Brooklyn is crying for your talent.
Fine, fuck yourself up, Johnny. Anyway, for Brooklyn, I think we're a year late.
You don't know this town, Doctor. Practically everyone needs a new face.
But so many of the old faces are all locked up.
A very small percentage. And the boys of Brooklyn are famous for playing generously to stay out of jail.
Take it easy, Johnny. Your aunt. They don't want us here.
We're here for dinner, aren't we?
Yeah, but after dinner.
I'll handle it. Leave it to me. While this house will be our headquarters for many years.
Oh, that would be beautiful, Johnny. This nice, quiet house. Those aunts of yours. What sweet ladies. I love them already. I get the bags, yeah?
No, wait. We must wait till we're invited.
But you just said that.
We'll be invited.
And if they say no?
Doctor, two helpless old women.
These like comes to a beautiful dream. Only I hope you're not dreaming. You're so peaceful.
That's what makes this house so perfect for us. It's so peaceful. Chicago were among the happiest and busiest of my life.
And from Chicago, we go to South Bend, Indiana.
I don't think they would be interested in our experience in Indiana.
Well, Jonathan, we really shouldn't have let you talk so late. You really must be going.
I mean, Dr. Einstein, I might say, changed the whole course of my life. You see, I've been to South Africa in the diamond business, then to Amsterdam in the diamond market. I wanted to go back to South Africa. Dr. Einstein made it possible for me.
A good job, Johnny. Then we take off the bandages. His face looks so different. The nurse had to introduce me.
Anyway, I still carry the picture with me.
That's more the way you used to look, Jonathan. But still, I don't think I've known you.
I think we'll go back to that face, Doctor.
Yeah, he's safe now.
Well, Jonathan, I know you want to get to wherever you're going.
Aunt Abby, I'm so full of that delicious dinner, I'm unable to move a muscle.
Yeah, he's nice here.
Well, it's very late then.
I found it! I found it!
Found what?
The story of my life, my biography. Here's the picture I was telling you about, General. Here we are, behold it. President Roosevelt and General Roosevelt over cut. That's you, General, and that's you.
General Goebel, as President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, and the man who gave you this job, I demand that you accompany me on the inspection of the new lock.
Teddy, I think it's time you went to bed.
I beg your pardon. Who are you?
I'm Woodrow Wilson. Go to bed.
Do not go. But let's see. Your face is familiar. You're no one I know now. Perhaps later, on my hunting trip to Africa. Yes, you look like someone I might meet in the jungle.
It's your brother Jonathan, dear. He's got a baby.
So that's it, a nature faker.
Teddy, perhaps you better go to bed. Jonathan and his friends have to get back to their hotel.
General Goebel, inspect the canal.
All right, Mr. President. You go to Panama.
Follow me, General. Down south. Oh.
Well, bon voyage.
Hey, Tammy, I must correct your misapprehension. You spoke of our hotel. We have no hotel. We came directly here.
Well, it's a very nice little hotel with 3 blocks down.
Martha, this is my home.
But Jonathan, you can't stay here. We need our room.
You need them?
Yes, for our lodgers.
There are lodgers in this house?
Not just now, but we plan to have some.
Then my old room is still free.
But Jonathan, there's no room for Dr. Einstein.
He can share the room with me.
No, Jonathan, I'm afraid you cannot stay here.
Dr. Einstein and I need a place to sleep. You remember that as a boy I could be very disagreeable. It wouldn't be very pleasant for any of us if...
Well, perhaps we'd better let us stay for tonight. Just for tonight.
And that's it. Now, if you get my room ready.
Oh, man, only need there an hour. We keep it ready to show our lodgers. You and Dr. Einstein will find it most comfortable.
You have a most distinguished guest in Dr. Einstein. I'm afraid you don't appreciate his skills, but you will. In a few weeks, you will see me looking like a very different Jonathan.
He can't operate here.
When Dr. Einstein and I get organized, when we resume our practice, oh, I forgot to tell you, we're turning Grandfather's laboratory into an operating room.
We will not let you turn this house into a hospital.
Ha! A hospital? Heavens no, it would be a beauty parlor.
Hey, Johnny.
Dr. Einstein, my dear aunt invited us to live with him.
Oh, you fixed it?
But just for tonight.
Please get our room ready immediately.
Well, just for tonight.
Johnny, when I go down the cellar, what do you think I find?
What?
The Panama Canal.
Panama Canal?
It's a hotel he does. It just fits Mrs. Spinazzo. 6 feet long and 4 feet wide.
Down there?
You think they knew we were bringing Mrs. Spinazzo along? That's hospitality.
Rather a good joke on my end. Them living in a house with a body buried in a cellar.
How did we get him in?
Yes, we can't just bring you through the door. We'll bring the car up behind the house in the cemetery. And then when they've gone to bed, we'll bring Mr. Spinazzo through the door.
Bed. Just think. He got a bed tonight.
Easy, doctor. Remember, you're operating on me tomorrow. And this time you better be sober.
Honey, I got to eat first. I'm hungry. I'm weak.
Doctor?
Jonathan, your room is ready.
Then you can go up. Me and Dr. Einstein are moving the car up behind the house.
It's all right where it is at this point.
I don't want to leave it there. That might be against the law.
Abby, what are we going to do? Well, for one thing, we're not going to let Jonathan spend another day in this house. Why would the neighbors think people coming in with one face and going out with another? But what are we going to do about Mr. Hoskins?
He'll have to be told. Army regulations, you know.
No, Teddy, we must keep it a secret. Yes.
A state secret?
Yes, a state secret. Promise?
You have the word of the President of the United States. Cross my heart and hope to die. Now, let's see. How are we going to keep it a secret?
Well, Teddy, you go back down to Panama, and when I put out the lights, when it's all dark, you come back up here and take the poor man down to the cellar. Now run along, Teddy. Yes, and then we'll come down later and call the funeral services.
They announced the President will say a few words.
Teddy, don't you want to know where he is?
Oh, yes, where is he?
He's in the truck.
Dear me, it must be spreading. We've never had yellow fever there before.
Master, we've got to see the Dr. Einstein come back. Let's see if we can't get them to go to bed right away. Yes, and then by the time they're asleep, we'll be dressed for the funeral.
We're bringing the luggage through here.
Perfect. Your room is ready. You can go right up now.
I'm afraid we don't keep Brooklyn hours. We should run along the bed.
Well, you must be very tired, the both of you. And we don't go to bed this early.
Well, you should. It's time I came home to take care of you.
Well, we weren't planning on going to bed until...
Aunt Martha, did you hear me say go to bed? Now, we'll all go to bed.
I'll wait till you're up, and then I'll turn out the light.
All right, Aunt Daddy.
I'll do what's up.
Now, Aunt Daddy, turn out the light. I'll go open the door. You go hang him through.
No, Johnny. He's too heavy for me. You go around the bush. I'll stay here and pull. Together to get him down to Panama.
All right.
Look at that teeth open. Yeah. All right, Johnny. All right, Johnny.
better introduce ourselves. This is Dr. Einstein,
Dr. Einstein?
a surgeon of great distinction and somewhat of a magician.
And I suppose you're going to tell me that you're Freddie
I'm
Brewster.
Jonathan Brewster.
Oh!
I see you've heard of me.
Yes, just this afternoon for the first time.
What did they say about me?
Just as there was another brother named Jonathan, that was all. Well, that explains everything. Now that I know who you are, I'll just be running along home. If you'll kindly unlock the door.
That explains everything. Just what do you mean by that? What are you doing coming here at this time of night?
I thought I saw someone prowling around the house. I suppose it was you.
You saw someone prowling around the house?
Yes? Weren't you outside? Isn't that your car?
You saw someone at the car?
Yes?
What else did you see?
Just someone walking around the house with a car.
What else did you see?
Just that. That was all. That's why I came over here. I wanted to come to Aggie to call the police. But since it was you, I don't need to bother Miss Abby. I'll just be running along.
What was the man doing at the car?
I don't know. He still is on the way over here.
I think you're lying.
I think you tell the truth, Johnny. We never go there.
I think he's lying. Breaking into the house at this time of night. I think he's dangerous.
Take your hands off of me.
Doctor?
No, Brewsters. It's going to be a private meeting.
Teddy, tell me who I am.
That's my daughter, Alice.
No, Teddy.
Doctor, your handkerchief. Just tell me.
What's going on down here? What's the matter? What's going on? What are you doing?
We caught a burglar, a sneak thief. Go back to your room.
Who called the police?
I called the police. I'll handle this. Go back to your room. Do you hear me?
To the door boy's theater, and I should have known better.
It's your brother, Jonathan.
I know this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come back home, Mortimer.
Who'd you say this was?
It's your brother, Jonathan. He's had his face changed. Dr. Einstein, before the operation.
Jonathan, you always were a terror, but did you have to look like one?
Easy, Johnny, easy.
Have you forgotten the things I used to do to you when we were boys? Remember being tied up to the bedpost, the needles under your fingernails?
It is, Jonathan. Yes, I remember you. I remember you as the most detestable, vicious, venomous form of animal life I ever knew.
You people and start quarreling the minute you see each other.
There won't be any fighting, Abby. Jonathan, you're not wanted here. Get out.
Dr. Einstein and I have been invited to stay.
Not in this house.
Just for the night.
I don't want him anywhere near me.
But we told him he could stay for the night. And it wouldn't look very nice if we went back on our word.
All right. But the first thing in the morning, out. Where are they sleeping?
Hey, Jonathan's old room.
That's my old room. I'm sleeping in that room. I'm here to stay.
Oh, Wilbur, I'm so glad.
Johnny, we sleep down here.
You bet your life you sleep down here.
You sleep on the sofa, and I sleep on the truck.
Oh, that was not pretty now. Come to the movie side. I'll see about that.
No, Johnny, all this argument, it makes me think of Spinoza.
Well now, Mortimer, it really isn't necessary to be inconveniencing you like this. We'll sleep down here.
Jonathan, your sudden consideration for me is very business.
Johnny, let's go get our things out of the room, eh?
Don't bother, Doctor.
Doctor, by the way, I completely lost track of Mr. Spinaldo.
Who is Mr. Spinoza?
Just a friend of ours Johnny's been looking for.
Well, don't bring anyone else in here.
He's all right, Johnny. Bobby Pat, I'll tell you all about him.
Martha, you don't have to sit down here. Why, I can go in with Martha and you can take Papa's room.
No trouble at all, Aunt Tabby. We'll be passing in a few minutes. And then, Mortimer, you can have your room.
You're just wasting your time. I told you I'm sleeping down here.
Mortimer,
What's the matter with you, dear?
I'm almost been killed.
You almost been Abby, Martha.
No, it was more than that. He's some kind of maniac. I'm afraid of him.
My darling, you're trembling. Have you got any strong salt?
No, this used to call hot tea or coffee.
Coffee. Make some for me, too. And some sandwiches. I haven't had any dinner.
We'll make something for the both of you. Mortimer, what's going on in this house?
What do you mean, what's going on in this house?
You were supposed to take me to the movies tonight. You called it off. You asked me to marry you, and then 5 minutes later you throw me out of the house. And now, just after your brother tries to strangle me, you want to take me home again. Now listen, Mr. Brewster, before I leave here, I want to know where I stand. Do you love me?
I love you very much, Elaine. In fact, I love you so much, I can't marry you.
Have you simply gone crazy?
I don't think so, but it's just a matter of time. You see, insanity runs in my family. It's practically jealous. That's why I can't marry you, dear.
Now wait a minute, Mortimer. You've got to do better than that.
No, dear, there's a strange taint in the Brewster blood. If you knew my family, it's, well, kind of what you'd expect if Stephen King had written Romeo and Juliet.
This is because Teddy's a little...
Oh, dear. It goes way back. The first Brewster, the one who came over on the Mayflower. You know, in those days, the Indians used to scalp the settlers. He used to scalp the Indians.
Mortimer, that's ancient history.
No, the whole family. Take my grandfather, for instance. He tried his patent medicine down on dead people to make sure he wouldn't kill them.
He wasn't so crazy. He did make $1 million.
Jonathan, you just said he was a maniac. He tried to kill you.
But he's your brother, not you. I'm in love with you.
And then there's Teddy. You know Teddy. He thinks he's Roosevelt. No, dear, no Brewster should marry. I realize now that if I'd have met my father in time, I'd have stopped him.
But your Brewsters, aren't they? And the same sweetest people I've ever known.
Well, even they have their faults.
Yes, but what lovely faults? Kindness, generosity, human sympathy.
There's another one.
There isn't anything you can't tell me about your man.
Now, go ahead, dear. Little Lane, something very important has just come up. I want you to go on with the wait, and I'll call you in a couple of days.
If you think you're going to get out of this by pretending you're crazy, you are insane. Listen, you may not be going to marry me, but I am going to marry you. I love you, you dope.
Well, if you love me, will you get out of here?
Will you at least take me home? I'm afraid.
Afraid, a little walk to the cemetery. Good night, dear. I'll call you in a day or two.
You critic.
And Abby and Martha, come in here.
Wait a minute, dear.
Come in here now.
Yes, dear, what is it? Where's the name?
I thought you promised me you weren't going to let anyone in this house while I was gone.
Well, Jonathan, he just walked in.
I don't mean Jonathan.
And Dr. Einstein was with
I
us.
don't mean Dr. Einstein. Who's that in the trunk?
We told you, Mr. Hopkins.
That is not Mr. Hoskins. Are you trying to tell me you've never seen this man before? Now, Annette, don't you try to get out of this. That's another one of your gentlemen.
Why, look, how can you say such a thing? He's an imposter, and if he can't be better than our fellow, he's mistaken.
Oh, Aunt Abby, you admitted to me that you put Mr. Hoskins in the trunk. By the way, where is Mr. Hoskins?
He must have been to Panama.
Oh, are going to have to get out of this house just as quickly as possible.
I'm glad you recognize the fact that you and I can't live under the same roof. But you've arrived at the wrong solution. Take your suitcase and get out.
Johnson, you're beginning to bore me. You played your one-night stand, Brooklyn. Move on.
My dear Mortimer, just because you graduated from the backseat to the typewriter, don't think you've grown up. I'm staying and you're leaving. And I mean now.
If you think I can be frightened, if you think there's anything I fear,
I've lived a strange life, Mortimer, but it taught me one thing. To be afraid of nothing.
Father, just come and see what's in the trunk.
Now I have it!
let Martha see what's in the trunk. And Abby, I owe you an apology. I have good news for you. Jonathan is leaving and taking Dr. Einstein and a cold companion with him. Jonathan, you're my brother. You're a Brewster. I'm going to give you one last chance to get out and take care of this with you. Now, you can't have some more than that. All right, then, I'm going to call the police.
Don't reach for that telephone. Are you still giving me orders after seeing what's happened to Mrs. Finaldo?
Finaldo? I knew he was a foreigner.
Remember what happened to Mrs. Finaldo will happen to you too.
Oh, my back.
Hey, Dr. O'Hara. There's something we can do for you.
I saw your lights on. I thought there might be... Oh, you got company. I'm sorry I was hurt. No, come in.
Yes, come in. This is our nephew, Mortimer.
Please meet you.
And this is another nephew, Jonathan.
Please, somebody just wait. I've been here before, haven't I?
No, Jonathan hasn't been home for years.
You sure look familiar to me. Maybe I've seen a picture of you somewhere.
I don't think so.
Yes, Jonathan, I'd hurry if I were you. Your things are all packed away, aren't they? Well, you'll be wrong to say goodbye. I'll be running along. What's the rush? I'd like to have you stick around for a while. My brother's just going.
Oh, I forgot the coffee. Yes, and I better make some more sandwiches. I have to know your appetite like this time, Officer O'Hara.
Don't bother. I'm here to ring in a few minutes. You can have a cup of coffee with us. My brother will be going soon. Sit down. Hey, ain't I seen a photograph of your brother around here someplace? I don't think so. He certainly reminds me of somebody. These toilets are some of the ones you see in the movies. I never go to the movies. I hate them. I couldn't agree more. I write about the movies. You do? Hey, you're not born with Brewster, the movie critic. Well, yes. Well, I certainly am glad to meet you. Say, Mr. Brewster, we're in the same line of business. We are? Yeah, I'm a movie writer. How long has this been on the Seaport Stiff Temporary? How long have you been on the force? 12 years. The place itself, they're movies. I bet it's a honey. Well, it ought to be, with all the drama I see being a cop. Mr. Brewster, you got no idea what goes on in Brooklyn. I think I have. Hey, what time you got? 10 after 1. Yeah, I gotta go ring in. Wait a minute, O'Hara. On that movie of yours, I may be able to help you out. You won't? Hey, it was my face walking in here tonight. Look, I'll tell you the plot. Oh, you're on your way, eh? Good. You don't have much time, you know.
Oh, you're leaving now, Jonathan? Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. Doesn't this case belong to you?
Yes, Jonathan, you can't go without all your things, you know. Well, O'Hara, it was nice to meet you. Oh, I'm not leaving now. We never talked about your movie. I'm not leaving now. Why not? You just thought to help me with my movie. You and me are going to write my movie together. I can't do that, O'Hara. I'm not a creative writer. I'll do the creative. You just put the words to it. But O'Hara, no, sir, Mr. Brewster, I ain't leaving this house until I tell you the plot.
In that case, Mortimer, we'll be running along.
Don't try that. You can't go yet. You've got to take everything with you, you know. Look, O'Hara, my brother's just, you got to go ring in. My brother's just going. I can wait. I've been waiting for 12 years.
I'm sorry I was so long.
Don't bring that in here. Don't bring that in here. Look, O'Hara, would you board choice for some coffee in the kitchen? I'd be honored.
In the kitchen, Jonathan is leaving. Oh,
Johnson, I'm glad you came back to Brooklyn. Because it gives me the chance to show you out. And the first one out is your friend, Mr. Spinoza.
Why, that's worse than you're talking here.
Coming right out.
I didn't know you, George, about a movie with a policeman.
Get going now, all three of you.
Doctor, this affair between my brother and me has got to be settled.
Johnny, you're going to give us a chance to get away. How would you have?
You don't understand. The problem goes too many years back.
Please, Johnny, we're going.
We're not going. We're going to stay here.
With a cop in the kitchen? And all from the truck?
That's all they've got on us. We'll take Mr. Spinoza down and dump him in the bay, and then come back, right back. And then if he tries to interfere,
Johnny.
Doctor,
Yeah, when you make up your mind, you lose your head. Anyway, Brooklyn ain't a good place for you.
Doctor,
My Eastman's in the cell. We got to stick together. Someday, you know, we get stuck together. If we're going to be coming back here, we got to take these visits.
no. Hide them in the cellar. Move fast. Mr. Spinoza can go up the same way he came in.
Hey, Johnny, come quick! Come quick!
What's the matter?
You know that hole in the cellar?
Yes?
We got an ace in the hole. Come on, show me.
Jonathan! Jonathan! Jonathan!
Yes, Mortimer.
Where have you two been? I thought I told you to get...
We're not going.
Oh, you're not. You want Officer O'Hare to know what's in that truck?
Same here.
All right, you asked for it. This gets me rid of you and Officer O'Hare at the same time. Officer O'Hare, come in here.
If you tell O'Hara what's in the trunk, we'll tell him what's in the cellar.
The cellar?
There's an elderly gentleman down there who seems to be very dead.
What were you doing down the cellar?
I think you're going down to the cellar.
Now what are you going to tell O'Hara?
What makes the burn very good for the hair, too? Do I get them in here? No, you can't do that now. You just got the ring in. Oh, skip the ring in. I'll get Grant in here and cut his swap. Not put him on the seat. We'll get them on someplace later. How about the back room of Kelly's? Fine. You go ring in and I'll meet you at Kelly's. All right.
I'll go down to the cellar.
That's fine with me, isn't it, fella? No, we'll go to Kelly's. But you're going to ring in on the way. All right, that might take a couple of minutes. I'll ditch this guy in back in 5 minutes. I'll expect to find you going. No, wait for me.
Yes, we'll wait for him. I waited a great many years for a chance like this.
He got him right there behind him.
Take the bags up to the room, Doctor.
Back.
I say, left here? Oh, we thought we heard somebody leave.
Just Mortimer, and he'll be back in a few minutes. If there are any food left in the kitchen, Dr. Einstein and I will enjoy a bite to eat.
But you won't have time. No, if you're still here when Mortimer gets back, he won't like it a bit.
You like it. He's gotta like it.
Get something for us to eat while we go bury Mr. Spinoza down in the cellar.
Oh, no! You can't bury him in the cellar.
There's a friend of Mortimer's downstairs waiting for him.
Oh, friends of Mortimer?
They'll both get along fine together. They're both dead.
They must be Mr. Hopkins.
Mr. Hopkins?
You know what is about down in the cellar?
Why, certainly. And he's no friend of Mortimer's. Why, he's one of our gentlemen. Your gentlemen? Yeah. And you can't bury him down there anyway. There's no room. The cellar is crowded.
Crowded? With what?
Why, there are 12 graves down there right now.
12 graves?
Yes. And that leaves little room for anything else. And we're going to need it.
You mean you and Aunt Martha have murdered?
Murder? Certainly not. It's one of our charities. What we've been doing is a mercy.
You've done that here in this house and buried him in the cellar?
We've been chased all over the world. They stay right here in Brooklyn. And you They're just as good as you.
What?
You got 12? I got 12.
I've got 13.
Well, Johnny, 12.
13. There's Mr. Spinozza. The first one in London,
What, London?
2 in Johannesburg, 1 in Sydney,
Sydney?
1 in Melbourne, 2 in San Francisco, and 1 in South Bend. Phoenix,
Phoenix?
the filling station. The last 3 in Chicago, and the 1 in South Bend. That makes 13.
But you can't count the guy in South Bend. He died of pneumonia.
He wouldn't have gotten pneumonia if I hadn't shot him.
No, Johnny, you don't doubt. He died of pneumonia.
Well, that's easily taken care of. All I need is just one more body. Just one more.
Well, here I am.
Still on? You'll find out. You'll find whose house it is. I'm gonna shoot. You better stop it. Hasn't Mortimer come back yet? No. It's a terrible thing to do, to bury a good Methodist with a foreigner. I will not have our cellar desecrated. No. Where do you suppose Mortimer has gone? I don't know, but he must be doing something because he said to Jonathan, "You just wait. I'll settle this." Well, we can't very well settle it if it's not here. That's all we want settled. What's going on down there?
All right, now, where's Teddy?
Mortimer, where have you been?
I've been over to Dr. Gilchrist. I've got his signature on Teddy's commitment paper.
Mortimer, what's the matter with you? Those rounds at a time like this getting paper signed. You know what Mortimer's doing? Why, he's putting Mr. Spinozza and Mr. Hodgkinson together.
Oh, he is he? Well, let him. I've got to see Teddy.
But Teddy won't be of any help.
When he signs these commitment papers, I can tackle Jonathan. Don't you see?
No, I do see. And we pay taxes to have the police to protect us.
I'll be back down in a minute.
Come on, Watson. We're going for the police.
All right. The police? You can't go to the police.
And why can't we?
Because if you go to the police and tell them about Mr. Spinozza, then they find Mr. Hodgson too. And then that might make them curious and they find out about the other 12 children.
Look, we know the police better than you do. And I don't think they would pry into our private lives if we asked them not to. I'm not so sure they'd bother. Why, they'd have to make out a very long report. And if it's one thing a policeman hates to do, it's to write.
You can't depend on that. It might leak out. And you couldn't expect a judge and jury to understand.
Oh, Judge Thomas would. He's coming to tea someday. We know him pretty well. Yes, he always comes to the church to pray just before the lecture. And he's coming to tea someday, too. He promised. Oh, Abby, we must speak to him about that again. You see, his wife died a few years ago, and it left him very lonely. Come, Martha.
No, you can't do this. You can't go to the police. You can't have Judge Coleman deceive you.
Well, Martha, if you're not going to do something about Mrs. Spinozza, we are.
I am going to do something about this. We may have to call the police later, but if we do, I want to be ready for them.
You've got to get Jonathan out of this house, and Mr. Spinozza.
Will you please let me do this my own way? I've got to see Judge.
Well, Mortimer, if they're not out of here by morning, we're going to call the police.
They'll be out. I promise that. Go to bed, will you?
Well, Martha, if Mortimer's going to make Jonathan go out of here by morning, we might as well tell him to stop what he's doing right now. Oh, Jonathan, you might as well stop what you're doing.
It's all done. Did I hear Mortimer?
Well, it will just have to be undone. be out of this house by morning. Mortimer promised.
Oh, are we? In that case, you and Aunt Abby can go upstairs and have a pleasant night's sleep.
Yes, come, Abby. Good night, Jonathan.
Good night, Aunt.
Not good night, Jonathan. Goodbye. By the time we get up in the morning, you'll be gone. Mortimer promised. And he has a way of doing it, too.
Mortimer is back.
Oh, yes. He's upstairs with Teddy right now.
Well, I'll see Mortimer.
Yes, you will see Mortimer. Goodbye, Jonathan. Goodbye, Jonathan.
That's all fixed up. Looks like a lake. Nobody ever knows he was there. That bed's good to go already.
You're forgetting.
48 hours he didn't sleep. He go up now, yes?
No, you're forgetting, Doctor.
What?
My brother Mortimer.
Johnny, tonight, figure that tomorrow or the next day.
No, tonight, now.
Johnny, I'm tired, and tomorrow I gotta operate.
Yes, tomorrow you're operating, but tonight we take care of Mortimer.
My instruments are in the cell.
Don't do that, Mr. President. I cannot sign any proclamation without consulting my cabinet, but this must be a secret. A secret proclamation? How unusual. You have my word for it. I can let my cabinet know later. Yes, let's go and sign it. No, a secret proclamation must be signed in secret. But at once, Mr. President, I must go put on my signing clothes. Thank you.
You go now, eh?
No, Doctor, I'm waiting for something. Something important.
Please, you go now.
Dr. Einstein, I have nothing against you personally. You seem like a nice fellow. Take my advice and get out of this house and get as far away as possible.
Trouble God, get away.
All right, don't say I didn't warn you.
Oh, I'm sorry, you get away quick.
Things are going to start popping around here any minute.
Listen, Teddy's in a bad mood. Things like this keeps happening. Terrible.
Jonathan doesn't worry me now.
I keep on. Don't those movies you see teach you anything?
About what?
Well, at least the people in those movies act like they got feet. That's more than you do.
Oh, you think so? You think people in movies act intelligent? Well, I wish you had to sit through some of the ones I have to sit through. Take the little figure I saw tonight, for instance. In this movie, there's a fella. He's supposed to be bright. He knows he's in a house with murder. He ought to know he's dangerous, but does he get out? No. Now I ask you, Doctor, does that sound like something an intelligent person would do?
You're asking me?
He didn't even have the sense to be frightened. He'd be on guard. For instance, the murderer invites him to sit down.
You mean won't you sit down?
Believe it or not, that one was in there too.
And what did he do?
He sat down, mind you, this fellow that's supposed to be bright. Just waiting to be trussed up. And what do you think they used the time with?
What?
The curtain cord.
Well, why not? A good idea. Very convenient.
A little too convenient. When are movie writers going to use some imagination? The curtain cord.
You didn't see him get it?
See him, he sat there with his back to him. That's the kind of stuff we have to suffer through night after night. And they say the critics are killing the theater. It's the movie writers who are. So there he sits, the big dope, this fellow that's supposed to be bright, just waiting to be trussed up and gagged.
because it's very dry.
Now, Mortimer, if you don't mind, I'll finish the story. I've been away for 20 years, my dear brother, and not once during all that time were you out of my mind. In Melbourne one night, I dreamed of you. And in San Francisco, when I landed, had a strange satisfaction. Once again, I was in the same country as you. Doctor, we go to work.
Too study for me to quick, babe.
Doctor, this must really be an artistic achievement. After all, we're performing before a very distinguished critic.
Johnny.
Doctor,
All right, let's get over this. I gotta have a drink. I can't do this without a drink.
pull yourself together.
I gotta have a drink. Baby got in this afternoon. That was fine. Remember? That was the first. Oh, Johnny, you got a drink. Yeah, that's all there is. That's it, did you?
Wait,
You
Doctor.
lost me a drink.
Wait. Please, Doctor, where are your manners? Yes, Mortimer, I now realize it was you who brought me back to Brooklyn. Doctor, and my dear dead brother. That's all. He's all man. Now we don't want to back.
Yeah, you quick, babe.
Hey, the colonel's got to quit blowing that horn.
We're taking the people away from him.
We promised the neighbors we wouldn't do that anymore.
It won't happen again, officer. Good night.
I better take care of myself. Hey, you stuck me up. I'll wait another killing for you. What happened to him?
Even in the play, he talks nice. And that's what happened to the fellow in the play.
Lay out that movie you saw tonight. Gee, they stole that from the second part of my movie. Now, my second part is just before the... Oh, the guy falling. It turns out he's really falling me. What's going on here? Hey, how do you know? This is Walter Brewster. He's helping me with my movie. I'm just telling the story.
That time up makes Wednesday.
So you better report it to the station. The whole force is out looking for you. Ain't seen it for me.
Didn't know you was here.
We came down to warn the old ladies. The colonel blew that bugle again in the middle of the night.
Wade neighbors didn't call me about it. You think the rockets launched another scud.
The lieutenant's on the warpath. He says the colonel's got to be put away somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Say, Mr. Brewster, them first two acts run a little long. I better get to the third act quick.
You get away from me.
Say, you know what time it is? It's after 8 o'clock in the morning.
It is? Gee, them first two parts run a little long. I don't see anything we can leave out.
You can leave it all out.
Who's this guy?
That's my brother.
Ah, the one that ran away, so he came back.
Yes, he came back.
Broken, give me Mac. Yeah, Mac. You can tell the lieutenant he can haul off the big man, huh? We got him. Here in the Brewster house. You want us to bring him in? Well, all right, we'll keep him here. Lieutenant's on his way.
All right, you got me. Now I'll do some turning in. You think my hands are sweet, charming ladies, don't you? Well, there are 13 bodies buried in the cellar.
What are you talking about?
You better be careful what you're saying about your aunts. They happen to be our friends, too.
I'll prove it to you. Come in the cellar with me.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, go down the cellar with him, Abe.
I'm not so sure I want to go down there with you. You sort of look like Freddy Krueger.
he's worn it somewhere. Oh, you think he's worn it somewhere? If you got some look at the circulars we hang up, at least you could read two detectives. Certainly he's worn it. In Indiana, escaped from the prison for the criminal insane. He's a lifer.
Was there a reward mentioned?
Yeah, I'm claiming it. He tried to get us down in the cellar.
Yeah, you said there were 13 bodies there.
13 bodies in the cellar. And that didn't tip you off he came out of a nut house? Oh, it's Shakespeare. Where have you been all night? And you needn't bother to tell me.
I've been right here, sir. Running over you. It's more Brewster.
Yeah? Well, you're gonna have plenty of time to write that movie. You're suspended. Now get back and report in. Take that guy somewhere else. Now bring him in. See what you can find out about his accomplice. The guy that helped him escape, he's wanted too. I can't believe you fell for that kind of story. 13 bodies in the cellar.
But there are 13 bodies in the cellar. Who are you? I'm President Roosevelt.
What is that? He's the fellow that blows that funeral. Well, Colonel, you've blown your last bugle. Will you get that guy out of here?
Captain, I'd like to talk to you about my brother. What do you believe to do?
Mr. Brewster, we ain't going to talk about that. He's got to be put away.
Oh, I quite agree. In fact, it's all been arranged for him. I've had his commitment papers signed by Dr. Children.
He signed these three, and I signed them as best I can. Where's the youth? Go in. Out here. All right, I don't care where he goes, as long as he's going.
Oh, he's going all right. But I want you to know that everything that's happened around here, Teddy's responsible for it. Now, those 13 bodies buried in the cellar.
Yeah, those 13 bodies in the cellar. It ain't enough that never saw all the bread of him, and he's disturbing the peace with that bugle. But can you imagine what would happen if that story about 13 bodies in the cellar got around?
13 bodies. You think anybody would believe that story?
Well, you can tell. Some people are just dumb. You don't know what to believe sometimes. Will you excuse me?
Good morning, Mortimer.
Good morning, dear.
This is Mr. Witherspoon. He's come to meet Teddy.
To meet Teddy.
He's superintendent of Hackydale.
Oh, come right in.
This is Captain Lieutenant Rooney. I'm glad you're here, Superintendent, because we're taking him back for you today.
Eddie, I didn't know that.
Not today.
Look, Elaine, I've got a lot of business to do, so you run on home now.
Darn.
I had no idea it was this meeting.
Papers are all done. Here's going.
Just a minute. Mr. President, I have good news for you. Your term of office is over.
Is this March the 4th?
Practically.
Let's see. Oh, now I go on my hunting trip to Africa. Well, I must get started immediately. Is he trying to move into the White House before I moved out?
Who, Teddy?
Taft.
That isn't Mr. Teddy. That's Mr. Witherspoon. He's to be your guide in Africa.
Bully! I'll bring my equipment. When the safari comes, tell them to wait. Goodbye, Aunt Abby. Goodbye, Aunt Martha. I'm on my way to Africa. Isn't it wonderful?
Good morning, darling.
Oh, we have visitors.
This is Lieutenant Rooney.
How do you do, Lieutenant Rooney? My, you don't look like the crab apple the policeman said you are.
Well, the lieutenant is here, you know. Train blew his bugle again last night.
Oh, yes, we're going to speak to Teddy about that.
It's a little more serious than that, Mr. Brewster.
And this is Mr. Witherspoon. He's the superintendent of Happydale.
How do you do, Mr. Witherspoon? You come to meet Teddy.
He's come to take it.
Oh, no! Not while we're alive.
I'm sorry, Miss Brewster, but it has to be done. The tapes are all signed, and he's going along with the superintendent.
news. The police want Teddy to go there today.
But we won't be separated from Teddy.
I'm sorry, Letty, but the law's the law. He's committed himself and he's going.
Well, if he's going, we're going too. Yes, you'll have to take us with him.
Well, why not? Well, let's put it into one shoe that it's impossible. See, we can't take sane people in Avondale.
Well, Mr. Witherspoon, if you let us live there with Teddy, we'll see that Happendale's in our will. And Fort Berry dinner tomorrow.
Well, we could use the money, but I'm afraid.
Now let's be sensible about this, lady. For instance, here I am wasting my warning when I got serious work. You know, there are still murders to be told in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Oh, are there? It ain't only a bugle blowing, and he never told a friend of his, but things will just get worse. Sooner or later, we'll be fit to the trouble of digging up your cellar.
Our cellar?
Yeah, your nephew's been telling around that there are 13 bodies in your cellar.
But there are 13 bodies in our cellar. If that's why you think Teddy should go to Happydale, you just come with us. We'll show you. There's one, Mr. Spinoza, who doesn't belong here, will just have to be taken away. But the other 12 are our sensitive.
I don't think the lieutenant wants to go to the cellar. And he was just telling me that not only last year had to dig up a half-acre lot. Weren't you, Lieutenant?
That's right.
Oh, you won't have to dig here. We mark all our graves. We put flowers on them every Sunday.
Flowers? Superintendent, don't you think you could find room for these ladies? Well,
You come down and see. We'll show you.
I'll take your word for it, lady. I'm a busy man. Well, I'll have to be committed.
Teddy came in himself. Teddy came in himself. Can't they come in himself? Can't they sign the papers?
Why, certainly.
Well, if we can go and live there with Teddy, we'll sell the papers. Where are they? Yes, where are they?
He's coming around, Lieutenant.
Good morning, Mr. Klein. Good morning, Mr. Klein. Are you here too?
Yeah, me and Brosy have your other nephew out the kitchen.
Well, sign them up, Superintendent. I want to get this all cleaned up. Thursday, boy.
Just sign right here, Aunt Abby.
Oh, I'm looking so forward to going down. The neighborhood has changed so. Yes, just see. A front lawn gym.
Oh, we're overlooking something.
Oh.
What?
Dr. Einstein. Just come right over here.
Please, I missed it.
Dr. Einstein. Just come right over. I thought the doctor was going to meet you last night. Just come right over, doctor. Just sign right here.
Were you leaving, Doctor?
I think I must go.
Aren't you going to wait for Jonathan?
I don't think we're going to the same place.
Hello, Lane. Good to see you. Sit down, huh?
Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere.
Hello, Mike. Rooney. We picked up that guy that's wanted in Indiana. Now, there's a description of his accomplice. It's right on the desk there. Read it to me. Yeah, about 54, 5'6", 140 pounds, blue eyes, talks with a German accent, goes down the doctor. Thanks, Max.
Sorry, all right, Lieutenant. The doctor here is just completing the signature.
Thanks, Doc. You really do Brooklyn a service.
Mr. Brewster,
will y'all be ready to start?
Mr. Witherspoon, why don't you go upstairs and tell Teddy when he can take it home?
Upstairs? I'll show you.
No, Mortimer, we want to talk to you. Yes, Mr. Witherspoon, upstairs and to the left. Well, Mortimer, now that we're leaving, this house really is yours. Yes, we want you and Elaine to live here now.
No, dear. This house is too full of memories.
But you and Elaine will need a home when you two get married.
Darling, that is very indefinite.
No, it's not. We're going to be married right away. Mortimer, we're very worried about something.
Don't worry, they're not going to look up the... They're not... You're going to love it, Happydale.
It's not that, dear, that we're worried about. You see, you signed us next of kin.
Yes, of course. Why not?
Well, dear, it's something we never wanted to tell you, but now you're a man, and it's something Elaine should know too. You see, dear, you're not really a Brewster. You see, your mother came to us as a cook, and her poor husband had just died, and she was such a sweet woman and such a good cook that we didn't want to lose her. So we adopted the baby and wanted us as our own.
I'm not really a Brewster.
Now don't feel badly about it, dear. It won't make any difference to you, Elaine, will it?
Elaine? Did you hear? Do you understand?
Well, I better start breakfast. Don't bother. Mortimer's going home with me. Father's gone to Philadelphia, and Mortimer and I are going to have breakfast together.
Yes, I need some coffee. I've had quite a night. We won't need a wagon. Of course, I'm from...
Oh, you're leaving, Jonathan.
Yeah, he's going to Indiana. With the people that wants to care of him for the rest of his life. Come on.
Well, it's nice to know you've got someplace to go. Yes, we're leaving too. We're going to Happydale.
This house has seen the last of the Brewsters.
No, not unless Mortimer wants to live here.
I have a suggestion to make. Why don't you turn the property over to the church?
Well, we never thought of that.
After all, it should be part of the cemetery.
All right, let's get going.
Goodbye, Amy. I can't bend my record now, but neither can you. At least I have that satisfaction. Score Cindy 12-12.
Jonathan always was a mean boy. Never could stand to have anyone get ahead of him. I wish we could show him he wasn't so smart. Mr. Witherspoon, did your family live with you at Happydale?
I have no family.
Well, I suppose you think of everyone at Happydale your family.
I don't think you quite understand. As head of the institution, I have to keep quite a little.
That must make it very lonely for you.
It does, but my duty is my duty.
Well, Foster, if Mr. Witherspoon won't join us for breakfast, the least he can do is join us for a glass of elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine.
Yes, we make it ourselves.
Yes, of course. But at Happydale, our relationship will be more formal. But here, I don't remember when I had my last glass of elderberry wine.